Okay, so as I mentioned, my name is Cassie Milligan, and I am the Parent Instructional Coordinator here at Central Gwinnett High School. And welcome to our 2021 Title I Planning Meeting. We are offering this presentation simultaneously in English and in Spanish. And if you would like to hear this presentation in Spanish, if you would follow the directions on the screen, they've also been placed into your chat box. And we have our interpreter already over there who is interpreting in Spanish at this very moment. So if you do need the interpretation, we go number 1, click on interpretation globe. Number 2, select Spanish from the list, and then you can mute original or leave it open. And these directions are in the chat box. ¿Hay alguien que necesita español y no pueda escuchar español? Okay, looks like we're good. Alrighty, so we'll go to the next screen. So keep in mind in the meeting as we continue to, if you could, please type your name and whether you're a parent, a staff member, or community member in the chat box if you're able to. If you would please mute yourself unless you're speaking to the group. Once again, just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded, and then it's your choice regarding having the screen on or off. So, official welcome. Bienvenidos. As I mentioned, my name is Cassie Milligan. I'm the Central Gwinnett High School Parent Instruction Coordinator, and we have with us Ashley Broom, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Broom. I am the Assistant Principal here at Central Gwinnett over Title I and Curriculum and Instruction, and excited for you guys to hear our presentation on our planning meeting tonight. Thanks for being here.
And then we also have Lindsay Lopez Segura with us, who is serving as our interpreter for Spanish on the Spanish channel. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and it will be posted online so that you can view at a later date. And also, if you could please let any friends or family that you know that were not able to attend the meeting, that the meeting is being recorded and it will be sent out by email. So our purpose tonight is so that all of our families at Central Gwinnett High School and our community members would be able to share in the process of making decisions at the school level as far as our plan and promise, the plan, the promise, which is our family engagement document. And then at the district level or at the Gwinnett County Public Schools level, that would be able to get your input regarding our district family and community engagement plan. So just a brief overview regarding Title I. Title I is the largest federal assistance program for schools, and it provides additional funding to make sure that all students meet state standards, particularly those students who are at risk of not meeting the state's academic standards. And with those official funds and official additional money, we're able to support our students even more. And if you see me stop for a second, I'm admitting people. Okay. So how is Title I money determined? It is determined by the number of students at our school that receive free or reduced price lunch. So although this year, due to the pandemic, all of our students receive free and reduced lunch, the Title I funding is based on the students who actually completed the application to receive free or reduced lunch and were approved officially for that service. Additionally, Title I supports our parents and our families by offering activities and training opportunities with the goal of increasing their engagement in their child's education. So tonight, you will be giving input for the local school, which is Central Gwinnett, and you'll be giving input regarding our school goals, our school family plan and promise, our budget and prioritized wish list, and also an interesting question, although it's not stated as a question there, the question mark is missing. What do you think staff members need to know to better assist you in supporting your child's learning? That's a very important question, along with the other items that we'll be considering. So what we're asking for tonight, since this is virtual, normally we have forms that you would fill out and that you would write down your ideas and suggestions. So since this is a virtual meeting on Zoom, we are asking that if you have any comments and suggestions, we will get to certain points in the presentation where we will stop and ask. If you would like to, you can unmute yourself and give your comment or suggestion, or you can type it in the chat box. So there will be reminders throughout the presentation where you'll be able to do that. Okay, and we'll switch over to Ashley.
Again, good evening. I am going to walk us through some data and school goals so that you can look at the data before we start making some conclusions, some information, and some input about our school and what we will need to help support students as we move forward. So the first thing that you have is a parent perception survey results. Ms. Milligan, if you don't mind posting the link in the presenter notes in the chat, Ms.
Yes.
Milligan is going to post this so you can actually see it. I know it seems a little bit small right now, and I will walk you through a little bit of our parent perception survey results. So this is a survey that's given to our parents, and it just asks several questions about certain topics. So we overall as a school scored a 3.08 out of 4. Only 135 parents completed the survey. And then there are certain categories. So I'm just going to kind of go over the overview of this, and then I will ask a couple of questions. So first, you have instruction, which is in that upper left-hand corner. And I'll go clockwise around. So instruction is just the high quality education that your student learns at Central Gwinnett and is challenged. We scored a 3 out of a 4 in that particular category. The communication is next. So the school keeps me well informed, communicates effectively in a language that I can understand and a format that I can understand. We were rated a 3.2 out of the 4. Then you see technology. So the technology used improves learning, and the student is improving, the school is improving my students' technology skills. We scored a 3.03 out of a 4. Leadership. The principal is an effective leader who treats students and families with respect, and the principal's top priority is high quality instruction. In this category, we scored a 3.25 out of the 4, and at this time, that is our highest rating, as you see, as we still continue to move through. Next is discipline. So discipline is just the school promotes positive student behavior, and behavior problems are handled appropriately. Scored a 3.04 out of a 4. And then you see safety. So the school my student attends is safe and secure. And we scored a 3.21 out of 4. And when I say score, it's the parents are strongly disagreeing. As a 1, a 2 is disagree, a 3 is agree, and a 4 is a strongly agree. So you can see that in our categories, we are well on the agree to starting to get to that strongly agree. You can see citizenship is a 2.94, which is our lowest. So students show respect for others at school, and students use good work habits at school. Facilities. The school is clean and well maintained, so that falls in line with the same score rating of the 3.25 as the leadership. Responsiveness, school leaders are responsive to my concerns and parent and family input is considered. And engagement, so meetings, activities are scheduled when someone from my family can help attend, and the school supports families' student learning at home. And that was a 2.99. So I'm going to go to the next slide because at this point, we are going to kind of start talking about what you see. So in just a minute, I'm going to either ask you to post in the chat or just engage in a conversation with the others on this call as it relates to these questions that you see on the screen. So what do you notice? What were the results of the previous year's survey? How will we use this information? So let's talk about this as a group. What did you notice? Anyone can jump in or post in the chat.
This is Miss Milligan. I noticed that the activities for parent engagement being offered at an appropriate time or a convenient time for families went down from almost a 3.2 down, or 3.1 from last year down to 2.99 for this year. So if any parents have any suggestions regarding that, that would be great. I would appreciate that as the parent coordinator.
So I'll wait another minute if you guys have any suggestions or any comments. So obviously the chat box will stay open. So if you want to post in the chat box, feel free to do that at a later time. Just so you know how we use this information, we look at this as a school leadership team. We share this with our teachers, and we try to go on what are our areas that we need to focus on, and then we try to support our teachers and students in those areas for the upcoming years. While we always want to make a positive, sometimes we know we make a negative impact, as Ms. Milligan just shared with those activities for our parents and families, but we're also in a pandemic. So we're trying to learn to navigate through a new realm of things this year. So we'll keep moving. So the next piece that I want to share with you is our data. So our school profile data. Ms. Mulligan, can you share this link in the chat with our families as well?
I sure can.
And so the school profile data is just a bunch of academic information, demographic information, attendance information, discipline information over a period of time. So we can see that the last 3 years, including this year, are on this sheet. We are going to post this in the chat so you're able to open it on your phone. I know it is very small. I will talk a little bit out loud about the information so that you can hear it in case you can't open it wherever you're watching from tonight. So we'll start with our CCRPI score. So that score in 2018-2019 is a 69.3. The last 2 years, because of the pandemic, we have been waived for that CCRPI score, which is why you have not seen a recent CCRPI score. Same with the STAR climate rating as well as a 3. So just wanted to kind of share some information. So this school year, You can see the demographics are posted. You see the school and then you see the district. So we are 6% Asian, we are 43% African American, 39% Hispanic, 9% white. We are 3% multiracial. Our male to female ratio is pretty steady at that 52% males and 48% females. The SWD stands for students with disabilities. So we have about 15% of students at Central with disabilities. We also have the GIFT. So that stands for gifted. So 8% of our students are gifted. And then the EL is our language barrier students. That's 11%. So it's our English learners. And then our ED, that is economically disadvantaged, is at 67%. And that's what Ms. Milligan was sharing with you based on the free and reduced lunch applications. So you can see that and you can compare it to the 2 previous school years. Attendance data. So attendance data is a little bit skewed over the past 2 years just because of the pandemic. But you can see that on average, a student is absent 7 days out of the 97 days that they're enrolled, and then their average day present is an 89. We have 273 kids that have between a 6 and 10 day absent rate. We also have 193 students who fall between the 11 to 15 day absences. And then we have 364 students who fall into the category of 16 or more absences, which is a significant increase from 166 from the previous school year and 177 for 2 years ago. It talks about teacher attendance as well. So talking about how many on average sick days a teacher takes, which is 2.9, and total personal days, so only 63, which is not even 1 per day. So that's a good thing. And then your total in-service days, so we've had about 25 of those days for our teachers. It then moves into some discipline information. So discipline information, it talks about how many students are currently enrolled, how many students have a referral on their record. So the total enrollment is 2,126, and the students with a referral on their record are 1,063. Please know that this is a number that is from their kindergarten year until today. So I see we have a hand raised. Ms. Mendoza?
Yes, I want this point is very important for my child. I want to know how many points they needed, but I need somebody in Spanish because I want to know exactly what do you say and what I needed to work with my son.
Yeah. Ms. Milligan, can you share how to join the Spanish channel?
Yes. So
she put it ready, but I don't know what I do with this.
Okay. Señora, ve abajo de la pantalla, hay un globo, ¿hay globo?
Sí.
Ok. Si usted puede hacer un clic en el globo.
El globito es como un mundito, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí.
Ok, aquí estoy tratando de hacerlo, por eso no puedo.
No,
ay. Perdón, no me da acceso a nada, solo presiono, pero no, solo me sale Cassandra Milligan y presiono el globo, pero no me sale nada. Perdón,
okay.
No interrumpí.
No hay problema, porque lo que usted debe ver es que después de hacer un clic en el globo, se ofrecen las opciones de inglés y de español.
Ujú. Sí, es lo que veo aquí, que sí me lo puso usted en español, pero no. Ya le di ahí, pero no me deja entrar.
Ok. Entonces, vamos a seguir con la presentación y lo que yo puedo hacer es que después o mañana yo puedo llamarle y darle más información y quizás yo puedo responder a otras preguntas que tenga usted.
Ok, sí, está bien
Ok,
entonces.
ok,
Ujú,
gracias,
gracias.
señora.
Okay.
Miss Broom, if you'd like to continue.
Thank you. The discipline data, and we just talked about that. So we will go over graduation rate. Last year's graduation rate was 77%, and the district was at 83%. It then feeds into some local district assessments for our middle schools. So we have 2 middle schools, Jordan and Moore Middle School, that feed into Central Gwinnett High School. And then it goes into some local district assessments for Central Gwinnett. So we, before the pandemic, we offered a local district assessments in the 4 core classes. And anywhere you see a green, that means that we beat the district average. So you can see that our EL students are excelling by beating the district and English ESOL for the past 2 years. You can see that we're excelling in physics by beating the district, and this past school year, the 2019-2020 in the US history mark as well. And then the gateway test is for 10th grade students previously. So if you have been following Gateway, Gateway will be for chemistry students in the 10th grade, and moving forward, it will be in US history instead of world history for the social studies, so they won't take that until their 11th grade school year. You can see that the scores over time, the number of students who've taken it, and then the mean score have increased in our science from 2017-18 to 2018-19. Again, you don't have the recent data due to the pandemic. And then you see milestone data. So the good news about the state of Georgia is they just reduced the milestone testing for our students in the high school. So students in high school now only take milestones in Algebra 1, Biology, 11th grade Lit, and US History. So that's some data. You also can see PSAT data for our 8th grade students and then our AP exam. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to kind of look through that data. And then I am going to ask that you write in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and have a conversation about what parts of the data catch your attention. So something I wonder about. So is there anything out of this data that you wonder about? Something that puzzles you? Something that I'm reminded of when I review the data? Something I would like to talk more about, or something you noticed? So based on the link that we shared and the data that we've talked about, please respond to one of these prompts in the chat box, or if you want to unmute and respond. Would anyone like to share out loud or type in the chat? Okay, I'll go ahead and I will move on to the next section. So the next section is a local school plan for improvement. So all schools have a local school plan for improvement that just helps us stay on track of what we want to see our school and our students achieve. So Central Gwinnett has 2 goals. The first goal is increasing passing scores on all local and state assessments. So we just want to make sure that whatever happened last year, we want to keep moving in a positive direction. And then the second goal is to increase the 4-year graduation rate. So graduation rate has continued to decline. So we are trying to now implement to where that graduation rate will increase. And how we do that is based on our implementation design activities. So our implementation design activities, we have building capacity of teacher leaders, raising student achievement in special education. So as we continue to dig further in the data, we noticed that our special education students were scoring lower. So we have really concentrated on raising the student achievement level for our special education students by providing training to our special education teachers, having district support in our special education classrooms. We also always are looking to build our teacher leaders to help their colleagues in whatever the case may be, whether it's instruction, building relationships with our students, or supporting their teachers with the content and the AKS. The second piece to that is building parent capacity activities. So we work as a Title I school to build our parent capacity at our school. So the first thing is we support parents through various academic meetings. We actually held one last night that talked about credit recovery and what it takes to graduate from high school. We have gateway meetings that we hold. We have content support meetings that we hold for our parents to provide strategies to help you support your child. And then virtual parent conferences / meetings. So in the year of the pandemic, trying to be more accessible to our parents by hosting some Zoom meetings or conferences so that you can participate no matter where you are in case you can't make it in time. At this time, we would ask that you type in any suggestions that you would have for the goals or the implementation activities. Okay, like I said, the chat box is open. So if you think that you noticed something later on and want to come back to that and write something in the chat box about the goals, feel free to use the chat box at any point or raise your hand in order to have some input. Right, and then Ms. Milligan is going to go over family and community engagement with you.
Yes. So with family and community engagement, we'll be dealing with one main document, which is the plan, the promise. So we will review the plan, the promise, and then gather your input in order to revise and update our current edition or version of the plan, the promise. Once again, you can give suggestions either by unmuting or typing in the chat box. So that is always open to you at any time. And if we could go to the next screen. So with the plan, the promise, there are several components to it that we've pulled out of the actual document that you'll be able to give input for. And what we would need your thoughts about how we can continue to communicate with our parents and how we might be able to even improve upon that. So the first way is with two-way communication. So that means the ability for the school to communicate with parents and for parents to communicate with the school. So some methods that we're currently using is the parent portal, because teachers are able to give information directly through the parent portal, email, phone calls. I would like to mention that we're not able to do automated phone calls. I've had several parents ask me this year. The local schools of Gwinnett County Public Schools are not able to do automated phone calls. So the calls that you get that are automated are from the county. It's usually dealing with emergencies or some type of county-wide initiative. Number 4 mentions parent-teacher conferences. And then something that we've started within the last 2 months is the nightly notes, which is a weekly newsletter or bulletin that is sent out to all parents through School Messenger. And it has information there and activities that can help you to support your child academically. So as we've gone through these methods, if you have any comments or suggestions regarding additional methods or any changes in the methods that we currently have, if you could put it in the chat box, or if you'd like to mute yourself and give us any suggestions regarding that. I will wait for about 30 seconds. Okay. The next part of the plan, the promise, is our activities to build our partnership with our families. So these are opportunities that we offer to our families that will help them to support their children academically and student learning. So some of the current opportunities that we offer at the school is for parents to be able to monitor their students' progress through the parent portal, parent group meetings and workshops, local school council meetings, parent-teacher conference nights. Although this year, because of the pandemic, we didn't offer it as we have done in the past, but we do plan to offer it next year. The annual parent perception survey, which is a survey that Ms. Broom mentioned to you earlier. And then even this meeting, the Title I planning meeting and the document review that we'll talk about a little later in the meeting, is an opportunity for parents to give input and to build the partnership between them and the school to support student learning. Are there any comments or suggestions that you'd like to make regarding additional activities that we could implement in order to continue to build our partnership with you? You can place it in the chat box or feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, we'll move along. Okay, next part is, okay, I'm going to read that chat. It says, thank you for having this meeting at this time. So thank you. We discussed a lot when to offer meetings, and honestly with Zoom, we've been able to do it throughout different times. We've offered some in the morning, some around midday, like the meetings yesterday. with graduation requirements. Around 5:30, this was our first time doing it. Right around this time, we were usually doing a little bit later. So we're trying to vary our times in order to give parents who have different schedules an opportunity to join us. And then we're also recording these meetings so that we can post it online for those who aren't able to join us. Okay. So with communication, this is how the school provides information to our families regarding school events and activities. So some current methods are parent portal. Hopefully you've noticed that internal messages and emails are now stored within the new parent portal format that you can go back and look at. And then also with eClass student portal, students are able to get information. We have Google Slides and parents can view that information as well. School Messenger email notifications, like the invitations that you received for this meeting. The school website, we use social media, especially the CGHS app. And then once again, the weekly parent newsletter that we have, the nightly notes. Are there any other comments or suggestions that you might have regarding other methods that we might be able to implement or to use to continue building our communication with our families? Okay, if you think of anything, feel free to unmute or feel free to put it in the chat box. We'll go to the next screen. So last part, or next to last part actually, about the plan, the promise, is how to engage and empower our families. So that means how do we help build our families' capacity or their ability to academically support their children? So Title I program information is one way that we do that because it talks about how we can help students who are at risk of not meeting state standards in the different programs and activities that we offer for them. Curriculum information that we share with our families regarding graduation requirements, testing, all of that helps families to know how to support their students and what students need in order to graduate. Student progress monitoring. We've been helping parents to be able to get onto the parent portal. We held parent portal meetings in individual consultations earlier in the year, and at any point in time when parents need it, that's available. Parent resources in the Parent Center, we have books and brochures and pamphlets that are available for parents, and particularly resources, academic resources that are available for checkout to students that I can check out in your name if you're not able to come to the Parent Center. We present staff training that helps our staff to be able to better communicate and engage our families. We work on communication and then also transition support as far as helping students from middle school to transition into high school in the 9th grade, and also working with our Central Gwinnett High School career and academy specialist who works with students for transitioning to life after high school. We've had meetings with her, and we'll have one actually in April where she will talk about financial aid. So these are all methods and activities that we are currently utilizing to engage and empower our families. Are there any additional suggestions or any additional activities that you would like us to see, that you would like to see us do for next year? Okay. If you think of anything, as we've mentioned, you can always place it in the chat or unmute. The next part of the plan, the promise, deals with our goals. So Ms. Broom mentioned that our school goals are increasing scores on all local and state assessments, and then also to increase the 4-year graduation rate. So with the plan, the promise, we've stated that we will work on these goals as a community, the school, the students, and the families by focusing on writing and reading comprehension. So as a school, we offer workshops to improve student achievement. We recommend online and parent-centered resources like tutor.com and other resources that parents can use and families can use. We ask our students to attend these workshops with their families so that they can learn as well, or help their families to learn what they're doing in their classes, to use resources for writing and reading that are given by their teachers, and to make an effort to use those skills at all times, whether it's writing outside the classroom or writing in the classroom, for tests, for quizzes, for personal activity, the importance of reading and writing at a high level. And then for our families, asking our families to attend workshops or meetings where we're able to give them strategies and information about how to improve testing scores or even how to improve grades, because students who do better in their classes will do better on their assessments and will also help them to graduate on time. So these are all activities or suggestions, strategies that we're asking from the school, students, and families. If you have any suggestions or comments regarding these, you can unmute yourself at this time or place it in the chat box. Have a response that says, we appreciate you guys doing everything this year to make it easier on our kids. Well, we appreciate what our parents are doing to help your children this year, because this year has been different for everyone, and we appreciate everyone working together, our families, our students, our school, our community, in getting through a difficult time. And next slide. Okay, volunteering. So with volunteering, we try to offer parents opportunities to volunteer, and it may be, well, it will be different than volunteering at elementary school or middle school maybe, but there are certain things that when we do need people to be able to help out. For one, is this Title I planning meeting. For instance, we're not able to hold this meeting without having parents, so we appreciate you taking the time to volunteer your time to attend and to offer your input. Family workshops and meetings, we can always use volunteers for that to come early once we're back in the holding person-to-person meetings. Local school council are opportunities that parents can volunteer to attend. Parent-teacher conference nights, we've had parents who have come in to help set up and to help direct parents and to give suggestions regarding that as well. The district parent meetings, there is a parent committee, and we have parents that are representatives from our school. So if you're interested in doing that, we would appreciate that, you volunteering your time and your energy regarding that. Orientation day, or although for this year it was a little bit different, whenever we have it back in person, we have had parents that have come in and help with parents who are coming in, particularly those who are ninth grade parents. And then a lot of times what we end up looking for is chaperones for field trips. So those are all things that parents can volunteer for. I will also put in a plug in for PTSA. They are looking for volunteers as well, although that's not directly under Title I. That is a parent activity and a parent organization. So they are looking for volunteers as well. So if you have any additional comments or suggestions, please feel free to place that in the chat box or unmute and give verbally. Okay, then we'll move on. And we'll go to Ms. Broom with the budget.
Awesome. So Just so you guys are aware, as a Title I school, we are given an allotment every year, given an allocation. Each Title I school is giving a certain amount of funding based on the number of students that receive free and reduced lunch. So we are going to go over our budget. So this is a tentative budget allocation. So this amount is based on last year's allotment. And you can see there's a note that says funds are based on last year's budget. So that way, you know that hopefully we will be able to get the real-time budget as soon as possible. So based on last year's budget and keeping in mind for next year, you can see that we have $808,601 are spent on teaching positions.
$601 para posiciones para los maestros y sus beneficios para adherir maestros adicionales.
Learning. So we were able to hire 5 science teachers, 1 math teacher, 1 social studies teacher, 1 ELA teacher, so language arts, and then 3 other teachers that fall into different categories such as fine arts, world language, or CTAE, the career technical education. For direct instruction, and originally we spend about $19,000 on direct instruction. We have a Nearpod subscription, which is something that teachers can use to engage students in a technology world. So they have assignments that they can do from the Nearpod subscription. We provide registration fees for summer school and for Phoenix for students who fall behind in classes and want to make up those classes in summer school or after school at Phoenix. We offer extended learning time. So this is for students who potentially could have failed with a certain grade, or extended learning time is also a time for remediation for students who are currently maybe falling behind, but we want to get them on track before the end of the semester. Also under direct instruction, we buy Chromebooks to help support our students. So this year we have provided Chromebooks to students who are digital, who do not have Chromebooks. And then we also have enough Chromebooks to have some in the classrooms for students to be able to use and teachers to engage in instructional strategies through technology. At this time, we have about $500 for instructional support. So that is professional development for teachers and collaborative planning. And then we spend about $5,000 on our family engagement. So that is interpreters. So as you see, we have one tonight, postage, printing, workshop supplies, and then books for our parent support, student support center. We want to make sure that our Parent Center has books that help our parents with strategies to help support their kids in their academic world, whether it be math, language arts, science, social studies, or just even just the social and emotional effects of today's world with our students. So all of that equates to a total of $833,220. So I am going to go to the next slide, and you can see that at this time, this is what the allocation looks like. You can see that the majority of our funding is spent on teaching positions, which stated earlier provides more support in the classrooms for our students so that they get that rigorous instruction in order for them to be successful moving forward. So at any time I'm talking about the budget and we're about to go to a wish list, please feel free to post in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and talk about things that would be resourceful to our students that we could use Title I funding for. So as a school, our CGHS Title I wish list would include additional teachers and support staff, Technology software, so Chromebooks, document cameras, smart boards, calculators for our students. Collaboration planning, so collaborative planning with our teachers so that they can make sure that they plan for that remediation and enrichment for your student. Additional professional learning, literacy consultant, basic instructional supplies, paper, pencil when we come back to in-person learning. Additional extended learning programs, additional summer school in Phoenix registration, literacy books for classrooms, additional resources, books, and materials for the Parent Center, practice assessment and testing resources, and then maybe something that's not included on this list. So I'm going to pause for about 30 seconds, give you some time to either answer, the question of what other things would you like to see on this wish list, or did we miss something that you would like to see to help support student learning at Central? So there was a question in the chat that said, did CGHS provide any laptops to students this year? We were able to provide students who were digital learners who did not have access to a computer, or maybe they were sharing with a sibling, so it wasn't ideal situation. We were able to provide laptops for those students who are digital. That's been something that we've kept at the forefront, making sure that our students have technology needs if they are a digital learner. Okay, I'll move on. Right, the next thing is staff training. So Ms. Milligan kind of touched on this a little bit about this is important. So this question that I'm about to ask is one of the most probably important questions we get asked tonight is, what do you think staff members need to know to better assist you in supporting your child's learning? So, what do they need in order to be supportive of your student and their academic success? So I'm going to kind of just pause there, take about 30 seconds, and then we can move on if there's nothing to suggest. I know for me, for moving back to kind of everything, somewhat going to normalization maybe next year. That's the hope and hopefully the plan. But just some emotional, yeah. Thank you, Alyssa. I definitely think that this year we all need less of understanding and patience, and I think we need that moving forward too, because some of the students haven't even been in school as we move into next school year since March of 2020. And as school staff and teachers, we need to understand that students definitely are in all different places. Some are timid to be back, some are excited to be back, but we just need to make sure that our teachers get the training they need to know how to meet the needs of all of those students. I know we have seen a spike in some social and emotional settings for our students this year, especially those who are digital learners, just not having their friends, by their side. So I know we're looking at getting some training for our teachers. Our counselors are well trained in that, but just letting our teachers know the ins and outs of that social and emotional behaviors so that they can be aware and alert the counselor if they think it needs to go further. So we will keep moving, and I will turn it back over to Ms. Milligan.
So now we've talked about the local school documents. Now we're going to switch a little bit and talk about district documents and district plans. So the GCPS district input that you're going to give tonight will be regarding the GCPS Family and Community Engagement Plan, and then the 1% set aside for family engagement activities. So one plan that has actually been updated recently is the GCPS improvement plan or strategic direction. And the purpose of this direction plan is to keep the school district focused on its core business, which we've heard for years is teaching and learning. So that's what our goal is, to teach and to have an atmosphere that is conducive to learning. And that drives all of our continuous improvement, whether it's at the school or at the district level. So with this plan, it gives the vision, the mission, the direction, the goals, the core beliefs of the county from 2020 to 2030. And this is actually located on the GCPS website, and I will put the link in there in a moment. And then on the next slide, it shows a little bit more in detail. It says it's a deeper dive into the strategic direction, and it's basically divided into 3 categories. Our people, basically who's involved in this plan for curriculum and for continued growth, our core business, and our pursuit of excellence as a school system. So the community family and engagement plan is available for viewing, for you to be able to view. And as I mentioned, I will put that in the chat box. It's available in English and in Spanish. And then what we're going to do now is to look at a video that on the next slide. And we're gonna look, it's only about 3 minutes long, and we're gonna go ahead and play it in English and in Spanish so that everyone here will be able to hear it and give that information. Ms. Broom, are you able to do that? Okay. That's okay, I saw you do yes. Okay, perfect. And make sure you shared sound.
We are Gwinnett County Public Schools, and this is our plan for engaging our families and communities to increase the academic achievement of our students. Our district receives Title I Part A funds to help us meet the academic needs of your children. We use these funds to hire additional teachers in our Title I schools, purchase technology and resources, and to hire parent liaisons to serve as ambassadors for the school community. In GCPS, we know that when schools, families, and communities work together to support learning, children tend to do better in school, stay in school longer, and are more engaged in learning. This is why we have invited all of our stakeholders, our families, school staff, and community members to partner with us. Our goals as we partner with you are to establish expectations for meaningful and effective family engagement, and to strengthen the academic achievement of our students by engaging and supporting our families in the education of their children. We encourage you to attend monthly board meetings, join your local school council, or become a member of the Federal Program's Family School Partnership Parent Advisory Council to share your ideas and suggestions about the district and school's improvement plans. Another way for you to get involved is to attend your local school's Title I planning meeting, which will be held between the months of March and May each year. At these meetings, you can review local school data, help to revise the family engagement documents, and provide your input on the school's goals and Title I budget for the upcoming school year. Speaking of money, did you know that you have a say in how the district funds for family engagement activities are spent? This budget is discussed at the Federal Program's Family School Partnership Parent Advisory Council and the local school planning meetings, and we ask for input from all of our stakeholders. A portion of the Title I funds are set aside for family engagement needs. Currently, we use these funds to help offset the cost of ensuring that each Title I school has a parent center and a designated person to support parents. One of the most important parts of the Family and Community Engagement Program under Title I is building the capacity of schools and families to support student learning from home. That means making sure that our families have the knowledge and resources to be instructional leaders from their very own living rooms. It also means ensuring that our school staff is ready to support you as true partners in the education of your children. In GCPS, we understand that families are their child's first and most important teachers. Every school has workshops to help you learn more about important topics such as what your child is expected to learn and how they will be tested. School staff will also guide you on how to follow your child's progress in his classes and the best ways to communicate with his teachers. You can also attend classes that will teach you how to support your child from home with the subject she is learning at school, like reading or math. Plus, with so much technology at your child's fingertips these days, we can help you learn how to use digital resources like eClass to help you support her learning from home. In addition, starting a new school level can be scary for both students and families. But in GCPS, we offer helpful programs like workshops for parents and school tours for students, so going to kindergarten, 6th grade, or 9th grade for the first time can be fun for everyone. We also know that in education, we have a language all of our own, and we promise to try to speak to you and yours. If you ever need more help so that you can understand us, please ask. We can usually get things translated or find an interpreter for you. We also promise to communicate in multiple ways, such as printed flyers, websites, social media, and text messages, to name just a few, to keep you informed. Finally, we are always learning from you. Each year, we ask you to complete a survey to help us evaluate our program. Your feedback helps us to better understand the needs of the school community, how we can improve our partnership with families, and how we can remove barriers that may prevent you from participating in the school process. We count on your feedback to help us know where we need to improve to better serve you and your children. After all, that is why we are here. Thanks for watching our Family and Community Engagement Plan video. We look forward to meeting you at our next Federal Programs Family School Partnership Parent Advisory Council or at your local school planning meeting. It is our pleasure to serve you.
Okay, thank you. And then if we can play the one in Spanish.
Somos las escuelas públicas del Condado de Gwinnett y este es nuestro plan para comprometer a nuestras familias y comunidades para aumentar el progreso académico de nuestros estudiantes. Nuestro distrito recibe fondos de Título 1, Parte A, para ayudarnos a satisfacer las necesidades académicas de sus hijos. Usamos estos fondos para contratar maestros adicionales en nuestras escuelas de Título 1, compramos tecnología y recursos, y contratamos coordinadores de padres para servir como embajadores de la comunidad escolar. En GCPS sabemos que cuando las escuelas, las familias y las comunidades trabajan juntas para apoyar el aprendizaje, los niños tienden a mejorar en la escuela, permanecen más tiempo en la escuela y están más involucrados con el aprendizaje. Es por eso que hemos invitado a todos nuestros grupos de interés, que son nuestras familias, el personal de la escuela y los miembros de la comunidad, a colaborar con nosotros. Nuestros objetivos en colaboración con usted son establecer expectativas para un compromiso familiar significativo y efectivo y fortalecer el rendimiento académico de nuestros estudiantes al involucrar y apoyar a nuestras familias en la educación de sus hijos. Lo animamos a asistir a las reuniones de la Junta de Área, unirse a su consejo escolar local o ser miembro del Consejo para la Alianza entre la Familia y la Escuela presentado por la Oficina de Programas Federales para compartir sus ideas y sugerencias sobre los planes de mejora del distrito y las escuelas. Otra forma de participar es asistir a la reunión de planificación de Título 1 de su escuela local, que se celebra entre los meses de marzo y mayo cada año. En estas reuniones, usted puede examinar los datos de la escuela local y opinar sobre las metas de la escuela, el presupuesto de Título 1, así como ayudar a analizar los documentos de participación familiar para el próximo año escolar. Hablando de dinero, ¿sabía usted que nos interesa su opinión sobre cómo se gastan los fondos del distrito destinados a las actividades para la participación de las familias? Este presupuesto se examina en la reunión del Consejo para la Alianza entre la Familia y la Escuela de la Oficina de Programas Federales y en la reunión de planificación de su escuela local, y pedimos opiniones a todos los participantes. Una parte de los fondos de Título 1 se asignan a las necesidades de la participación de la familia. Actualmente utilizamos estos fondos para ayudar a compensar el costo de asegurar que cada escuela de Título 1 tenga un centro de padres y una persona designada para apoyar a los padres. Una de las partes más importantes del programa de participación de la familia y la comunidad de Título 1 es la formación de capacidades para que nuestras escuelas y nuestras familias ayuden a los estudiantes a aprender desde el hogar. Esto significa que queremos asegurarnos que nuestras familias tengan los recursos y los conocimientos para ser líderes educativos desde su propia sala. También significa que nos aseguramos que el personal de nuestras escuelas está listo para apoyarlo como un verdadero socio en la educación de sus hijos. Todas las escuelas tienen talleres que lo ayudarán a aprender los temas importantes, tales como qué es lo que se espera que su hijo aprenda y cómo serán los exámenes. El personal de la escuela también lo guiará para que pueda seguir el progreso de su hijo en sus clases y para que conozca las mejores maneras de comunicarse con los maestros. También puede asistir a las clases que le enseñarán cómo apoyar a su hijo desde el hogar con los temas que está aprendiendo en la escuela, como la lectura o matemáticas. Además, con tanta tecnología al alcance de los niños en estos días, podemos ayudarlo a aprender cómo utilizar los recursos digitales, tales como eClass, para que usted pueda apoyar el aprendizaje de su hijo desde su hogar. Sabemos que comenzar un nuevo nivel escolar puede ser aterrador para los estudiantes y sus familias, pero en las escuelas públicas del condado de Gwinnett ofrecemos programas útiles como talleres para padres y visitas guiadas a las escuelas para los estudiantes a fin de que, al ir a kinder, sexto grado o noveno grado por primera vez, sea divertido para todos. También sabemos que en la educación tenemos un lenguaje propio, pero nos comprometemos a intentar hablar su propio idioma. Si necesita más ayuda para entendernos, no dude en consultarnos. En general podemos traducir lo que sea necesario o llamar a un intérprete. También nos comprometemos a comunicarnos de varias maneras, a través de folletos impresos, sitios web, medios sociales, mensajes de texto, entre otros, para mantenerlo informado. Por último, siempre estamos aprendiendo de ustedes. Cada primavera les pedimos que contesten una encuesta para ayudarnos a evaluar nuestro programa. Sus comentarios nos ayudan a comprometer mejor las necesidades de la comunidad escolar, cómo podemos mejorar nuestra asociación con las familias y cómo podemos eliminar las barreras que pueden impedirle participar en el proceso educativo. Contamos con sus comentarios para que nos ayuden a entender dónde tenemos que mejorar para servirles mejor a usted y a sus hijos. Después de todo, para eso estamos aquí. Gracias por ver nuestro video del Plan de Participación de la Familia y la Comunidad. Esperamos verlo en nuestra próxima reunión del Consejo para la Alianza entre la Familia y la Escuela de la Oficina de Programas Federales o en la reunión de planificación de su escuela local. Es un placer servirles.
Okay, thank you. So that gave information really better than anything that we have written here, because it was all explained in the video regarding the GCPS Family and Community Engagement Plan. And so what was mentioned in there is also highlighted here on the slide regarding basically that plan is to show how the county will work with our families, our parents, our teachers, school staff, and community members in order to support student learning. If we'll go to the next slide. One of the things that it mentioned that we really need your feedback on is regarding family engagement set aside, which is part of the budget. So it did explain it in the video, but just as a reminder, it's 1% of the GCPS Title I budget, and it supports family engagement. And that 1% is equally divided to all Title I schools to partially fund a parent support person. So at our school, I'm the parent support person as the parent instructional coordinator. And it can also be used to fund family engagement at schools. So if you have any suggestions regarding the 1% family engagement set aside, or also the family and community plan at the district level, please feel free to unmute yourself at this time or to place any suggestions or comments in the chat box. Okay. If you think of anything, please feel free to put it in there or to contact us at a later time. One more thing that I'd like to mention to you regarding this process with the revision of the documents for our Title I program is that there will be a document review period. We're asking you to save the date, although you don't have to save it too long because it starts tomorrow and it runs through April 4th. And this will give you an opportunity to view and give input on drafts of the local school documents that we talked about tonight. And it'll also give those who were unable to join us tonight an opportunity to look at the information considered and to give input and comments regarding that. So it will go out sometime tomorrow, and we went ahead and extended it through April 4th so that that also offers you a weekend that you can look through it and give any input and comments on and give you a little bit more time for that. The available link, the link for the online document review will be sent out tomorrow to all families through School Messenger. And you can also come by the Parent Center on Thursday or Friday by appointment to view it if you would prefer to view it on paper. And then we have a question in the chat. Is the 1% enough to cover the cost for parent support? Ms. Broom, would you like to answer that? I mean, besides no.
Technically, the answer is no. Most local schools, what happens is a portion of the parent support center is paid through Title I, and then the other piece is paid through the actual school funding. So that is kind of how it is divided. So there is a portion that is paid from Title I and a portion is paid from the school.
Good question. Okay. All right, then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Broom. And you're muted.
Zoom meeting.
No, we almost got, well, I did it once. We almost got through the whole thing.
I know, we almost got through the whole thing. Alyssa, great question. Can we suggest to have more? So that would be something that we can put on the Title I input form when we turn that in, and we will most certainly be excited to be able to put that you suggested we have more. Like that, the last says, we really value your input. So what other opportunities do families have to provide input regarding Title I components, and what will we do with the input provided? So there are a lot of opportunities for you to have input. First step is you're here tonight providing us some feedback. The second piece is you took in a lot of information tonight. You may want to digest some information. So go home, look at those document reviews, and give some proper feedback in that document review. The second piece is always reach out to our parent coordinator, Ms. Milligan. She's your sounding voice for our parents. She comes to me all the time about, hey, this parent said this, and I'm like, oh gosh, we didn't even think about that. So some things we send out and we like to do things, and then we don't think about how it affects our families. But Ms. Milligan is that family sounding board. She's your contact to give input at any point. We also have some district meetings that you're able to provide some feedback for. Tonight is one of them. And what we do with the input is it really helps us drive our school year for family engagement and supporting our families for the next school year. So tonight's meeting helps Ms. Milligan and myself go back, look at all the feedback, and make some plans for next school year and what's most beneficial to you as the parent, you as the student, or you as a staff member, and how can Title I support all of those aspects. So that's what we do, how we get Mr. Orr, the principal's approval, and in all of the items that you guys suggest. And you know, that's how we know what to do to support you guys, because unless you guys tell us, we sometimes don't know, because we're in school lane, whereas you're in parent and student lane. So we love the feedback, and we appreciate the feedback, whether it's positive or negative. We know we're not perfect, and we're always willing to grow. So we appreciate your feedback. And I think, is that the last slide?
That is the last slide.
That is the last slide. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. We noticed that at 5:30 we didn't have a lot of participation, so either we're going to try 4:30 or a 6:30 maybe next year, or maybe it's just everyone's email fatigued and didn't check their email. So thank you for attending. We will stay on if you have any more input or questions. If not, thank you, and make sure you do the document review if you need to.
All right, everyone, have a good night. Bye.